Member for Camden.
My question is directed to the Minister for Energy and Environment. How is the New South Wales Government delivering on its plan for the environment?
Minister.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and what a great question from a great new member of this House, Mr. Speaker. The best member for Camden they've ever had, can I say? And can I just say, I know it's a low bar, Mr. Speaker, but can I just say his environmental credentials are well known. He's known around the Macarthur region as Green Pete. Green Pete, great to get a question for you on the environment. Member for Camden, Mr. Speaker. I know he and everyone that cares about our environment are excited about what the New South Wales Government are doing to protect our planet, Mr. Speaker. And what a better place to start than return and earn. Return and earn. A great scheme reducing litter right across New South Wales, Mr. Speaker. This scheme has meant that we've reduced litter volume by 33%, Mr. Speaker, 33%, and we've received almost 2 billion bottles. 2 billion bottles, not just from the Speaker's garden, Mr. Speaker, 2 billion bottles as a result of return and earn. So it's had a huge impact on our environment, but it's been a great win for community groups, for charities, and also for school groups who earn much needed money for community activities. So great win. Another great thing the New South Wales Government is doing for the environment is saving our species. We've got the $100 million Saving Our Species Fund, and no, Sussex Street cannot access that fund, Mr. Speaker. The Saving Our Species Fund is doing important work by saving endangered and threatened species across New South Wales. And I can just say a great example of that is the Bellinger snapping turtle, one of the rarest turtles on the planet. And after a freak virus nearly wiped out 85% of the population, thanks to the Saving Our Species program and in conjunction with Taronga Zoo, we were able to, through a rebreeding program, reintroduce this species back into the wild, making a huge difference to species like the snapping turtle. But it's not just what we've done, Mr. Speaker, and that's the exciting thing. It's what we're going to do. And I'm determined, as the Minister for the Energy and Environment, to ensure that we tackle the issue of climate change and we reduce our carbon emissions. And one of the ways we'll do that, Mr. Speaker, and I note the interjection from the member for Cessnock, who denies, he's a knuckle dragger who denies the existence of climate change, Mr. Speaker. And what I will say, one of the ways that we will reduce our carbon emissions is by introducing our regional renewable energy zones, Mr. Speaker. And this is really important because it's about driving investment into the regions. It's about creating jobs and at the same time bringing more supply into the system, which will drive down prices. Which will drive down prices, Mr. Speaker, and reduce carbon emissions. So it's an exciting time in the environment. But one of the things that I also want to do, Mr. Speaker, one of the things that I'm glad you asked. One of the things that I want to do, Mr. Speaker, is increase the footprint of our national park network, our iconic national park networks. And we'll start that straight away with delivering our election commitment by delivering the Tuggalong Station National Park. Down in the Bowral region, I know the member for Goulburn is very excited about this development, increasing the footprint of our national parks, enhancing our natural environment and providing important protections for our koala habitat, Mr. Speaker. This is very important work, Mr. Speaker.
Order. Port Stephens is on 2 calls.
Mr. Speaker, these are important initiatives. We want to tackle climate change decisively and responsibly, Mr. Speaker. We want to clean up litter right across New South Wales, and we'll continue to roll out the successful return and earn scheme, Mr. Speaker. In addition to that, we've got our Saving the Species program. We'll look after species like the Bellinger snapping turtle. I know the member for Cronulla was instrumental in delivering this great program. And it's not just that, it's bandicoots, it's burrowing bettongs, it's everything that's endangered. We'll be making sure that their survival lasts into the future. Mr. Speaker, these are important initiatives. And as I said, in addition to that, we've also got our national parks, our iconic national parks, which do so much to enhance the amenity of communities right across New South Wales. And I'm determined to increase the footprint, to protect our national parks. And while we're on the topic of national parks, I note the interjection of the member from Monero, who cares deeply about the concept of our national parks. And I look forward to working with him to make sure we improve the visitor experience.
Member for Camden. 2 minutes granted.
We want to not only enhance the footprint of our national parks, but improve the quality of our national parks. And that's why we'll take on feral animals. That's why we'll invest to make sure the infrastructure's there, to make sure people can have a great time in our national parks. So, Mr. Speaker, what I will say, while the state of our natural environment in New South Wales is good, the state of the environment inside the Labor Party has never been worse, Mr. Speaker. Never been worse. What we're seeing is the most toxic waste dump of a leadership contest in the history of the once great party, Mr. Speaker. I should get the EPA onto it, Mr. Speaker.
Member for Port Stephens, rise the point of order.
Mr. Speaker, it is 129 and relevance. The Minister ought to be talking about the importance of the environment, as the question has been asked.
Minister can continue.
Talking about the sale of the Mambo wetlands in Port Stephens, Corkwalla habitat.
Well, we're not talking about stalking horses at the moment, Mr. Speaker, but what we are talking about is the contest between the member for Cogra and the member for Strathfield and the environment inside the Labor Party, Mr. Speaker. You got the member for Cogra, the electoral messiah, Mr. 1.8%, and his slogan is making safe seats marginal, Mr. Speaker. Is it any wonder Liverpool and Swansea, you're backing the member for Strathfield, Mr. Speaker?
Do you want to sit down, you prat?
I'm going to ask the member for Liverpool.
The fascists can be quiet.
I'm going to ask the member for Liverpool to withdraw that before I take his point of order.
But he is a prat.
Sit down, please. Minister, continue.
Mr. Speaker, then you've got the member for Strathfield, Tory Mackay. Tory Mackay, she's so committed to Labor values, she tried to join the Liberal Party, Mr. Speaker.
Acting Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker,
She's got much better taste than that.
76, he knows very well, if you want to start attacking members over this place, you do it through a substantive motion, and we'll start attacking you, mate. So let's bring it on. You want to bring it on? Bring it on.
Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, so here it is.
Minister, just hold, please. I've got the stop clock. Quiet, please. Just firstly, to the Leader of the Opposition's point of order, I believe that he was referring to Standing Order 73 rather than 76. Yeah. Is that correct? Yes. So just to clarify then my response to that, please get your standing order right, but a general attack on the Labor Party is acceptable when as it is. Please. General attacks on Liberal Party are also okay from the Labor Party. The point I'm making is when an attack becomes unduly personally targeted at an individual, then Standing Order 73 starts to become relevant. I have regarded the Minister's comments as general in nature. Minister, please continue. Member for Maitland, you rise on a different point of order?
Just further to that point of order.
Fine. I'm happy to take your
Mr.
comments.
Speaker,
Yes.
yesterday you sat down the member for Strathfield when they made a personal explanation about one of the allegations that this minister is putting there. I think that given that she has been forced not to be able to
Sorry, do you have a point of order on the current?
That's it, about 73.
Right.
So, given that you did not allow her the opportunity to defend herself against these allegations, I think you should stop the minister from making them.
Thank you. No. To the point. If it's to the point of order, thank you. I'll take the minister to the point of order. Then I will clarify Standing Order 62, which is the relevant standing order that the ruling was made in relation to the member that you talk about before.
Well, Mr. Speaker, to the point of order, of course this is about the environment, because we know under Chris Minns' leadership, even the safe seat MPs are threatened species.
Thank you, Minister. Thank you, Minister. Can I just have quiet for a moment? I'm just going to clarify this for the House's benefit, okay? Standing Order 73, not Standing Order 76, which is the one that the Leader of the House was referring to, asks that we respect the following standing order. Imputations of improper motives and personal reflections on members of either House are disorderly other than by substantive motion. Standing Order 62, which was the request, which was, quiet please, which was the request from the member from Strathfield, was in relation to a personal explanation. And a member, when there's no question before the chair and with the leave of the Speaker, may explain a matter of a personal nature. A personal explanation shall not be debated and leave may be withdrawn by the Speaker at any time. Previous rulings, including that of Speaker Torbay, have made it very clear that personal explanations need to be brief and factual. I spoke with the member... Quiet please. I spoke with a member for Strathfield before allowing her to give a personal explanation, and I reminded her, when she attempted to do so, to be brief and factual, and I went into more detail in terms of that discussion before she made it. So I make it very clear that the basis on which I asked her then to desist, and we spoke about it afterwards, was quite different. I just wanted to clarify that for the benefit of the House in light of the comments that have been made. I will now allow the Minister to conclude his answer, and I want him to conclude it with total silence, please. Thank you.
Well, thank you for an excellent ruling, Mr. Speaker. Can I just say, Mr. Speaker, let's call it for what it is. This leadership contest is a contest between a union hater and a Liberal sympathiser, Mr. Speaker. That's what it is, Mr. Speaker.
Minister,
is
stop
it
the clock,
any wonder
please.
the member from Maroon
Stop the
thought
clock.
he would keep his job, Mr. Speaker?
Member for Wyong.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. At Standing Order 74, after what you've just said, clearly the Minister is inciting people on this side to react, and then they get put on calls. Under what you said on the first day was that you wouldn't allow that to happen.
Thank you, Member for
We
Wyong.
have been behaving pretty well, which they have actually indicated to be true.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we appreciate
Thank
your
you.
protection.
The Minister will
Mr. Speaker,
complete his answer.
the member for Wyong may not like it, but the reality is this is a battle royale between a union hater and a Liberal sympathiser. That's how low the Labor Party stocks have fallen, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we will tackle climate change on this side of the House. Those side and that side need a
Standing
change
Order
in the climate,
59,
Mr.
tedious
Speaker.
repetition.
Thank you. The answer is